We're back. Finally. I apologize for the long delay, but it's been a rough week. I'm not even going to lie. We'll get into it here in a minute. First of all, I want to say thank you, Richard Vincent, already here. Shane, you guys consistently show up before everybody else. It's awesome. Love it. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. So Richard, evening, Brian, how are you guys doing? Keeping the little people busy. We were busy this weekend. We let's see here. I can't even remember what we did yesterday. I did a lot of working. I've been playing mad catch up because of all the stuff that's been going on. Again, we'll get into it. And then today we walked around downtown. We had the Melon Fest. It was a good time. Kids got to play on some bounce houses, got some good food. Paella. If you guys have never had paella, it's seriously good. So, Dirty Mining Apparel, thank you so much. We are already starting off the live stream. Before we were actually technically live, we already have $10 on the books. Thank you, Dirty Mining Apparel. Absolutely go check his stuff out. Check his website out, Dirty Mining Apparel. Excuse me, pardon me. You're gonna have to deal with the burps tonight because we're doing beer, so that's what it is. But yes, thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate it. Brandon, what's going on? We have let's see here, Amuniki. How do I pronounce that? You're gonna have to help me out. Give me some phonetic spelling so that I can pronounce that. We got the Canadian, what's going on? Good to see you guys. AP, what's going on out there in the UK? Let's see here, Canadian. So I was not at the cottage. We were actually in Idaho. I've got family out on the west coast. Not even the coast, out on the west side of the U.S. We were out seeing that family. It was the first time I got to see that side of the family in about 6 years. Awesome trip. Had a great time. Really good time catching up. All of my cousins, last time I saw their kids, they were infants, and now they are all 7, 8 years old. So that was kind of a trip, getting to know the kids that I saw last time that were children, like babies. So that was kind of interesting, but very cool. We got Ryan Garrett. What's going on? Good to see you, man. Nick, what's going on? Nick Santa Maria. Before you take off, Nick, because I just know that you're not going to be here for the whole thing, because that's what our relationship has devolved into. In honor of the fact that you turned me on to Pink Whitney back in the day, I now have to present you with a drink that my wife found that is actually extremely delicious. But it doesn't get any girlier than this. Legit, we've got panties right on the can. So this is what we're going to dive into here in a little bit. Well, focus there. Come on, camera. There we are. So this is a blueberry shandy. I'm not going to lie. Like, this is seriously good. It's from Farmhouse Cider Company. And oh my gosh, these have got just the, like, my problem with most of those kind of drinks is they're too sugary, they're too sweet, and this one is not. It is the perfect mix of, you get a little bit of that blueberry sweetness in there. This is this is how much of a raging vagina I have. It's blueberry lavender lemonade cider. 4% alcohol, and it is, oh my gosh, is it good. So we're gonna bust into that later once I finish my actual beer. This is a real beer from Bell's Brewing. This is what we're drinking this evening, or starting the evening off with. Come on, camera, you can do it. There she is. No, yeah, it is a golden ale. So anyway, delicious stuff. Anyway, let's see here. Where do we leave off? Zenon, what's Spot a Skid Steer? Good to see you, by the way. Bought a skid steer recently, mini skid per se. Oh, okay, so you got you a little one. Put a branch manager grapple on it. Been playing with it for a few weeks. Love it so far. That's awesome. Those mini skids are slick little machines. Those are a lot of fun. Doing McCarthy safety orientation right now. Ooh, fantastic, Shane. That sounds like a good time. Brandon, that is about accurate. Yes, unfortunately, when you donate through YouTube ends up bending me over the table and taking most of it, unfortunately. AP, it is going. I got it right. Amuniki, that's awesome. And from Guyana, that's awesome. Welcome to the channel, and thank you for showing up. That is, every time we get a new country on here, it gets me all excited, because, I mean, how cool is this that we're broadcasting all over the world right now? We got AP over there in the UK, Shane's out in California, Nick's up there in Canada, now we have someone in Guyana. Like, that's freaking awesome. So anyway, all right, here we go. I'm gonna bring you all down, and give you the backstory as to what's going on, why we were off last week, why this has been a really killer week, and why I'm probably not totally 100% myself tonight. So, we're just gonna drink a beer. Okay, so we went to Idaho. Like I said, had a great trip. I had 2 dogs. We've had them for 11 and 12 years. My 12-year-old dog had gotten a tumor on his back leg. It was cancerous. We couldn't operate on it, and it was exploding in the growth. That's where we left when we went to Idaho. It was inoperable. We knew we had a limited amount of time with him, and so it was stretching. It was growing to the point that it was stretching the skin. It was actually rupturing the skin and starting to grow through. And so we knew we were low on time, but at the same time, it wasn't really bothering him that much. His mobility was still good. He was still a happy dog, wagging, still playing a fair amount. So it was one of those situations where we were going to let it go as long as we could, because it didn't really make sense to put him down if he's still able to have a pretty good life. Fast forward, we get back from Idaho, and while we were gone, he stopped eating all his food in his dish, which this dog, his name was Joey. Joey was like all about food, so that was abnormal. And everyone familiar with dogs knows that that's one of the first signs. And so that was Saturday night when we picked him up. His whole demeanor had kind of changed. He wasn't the chipper old self that he used to be. He was starting to lick at that tumor pretty bad. And so Saturday night, I kind of knew where we were headed, and I didn't really want to break the news just flat out to my wife. So I just kind of stuck a bug in her ear that, hey, you need to pay attention to Joey and take a look at how he's acting tomorrow. I think we're getting close. Sunday morning, we woke up, and really just throughout the course of the day, it was pretty obvious that it was time. So we spent Sunday kind of figuring out when we were going to pull the trigger. I knew it was going to be sometime this past week that I was going to have to do it. Sorry, I'm not actually crying right now. I have allergies, and so my nose has randomly decided to run. Anyway, made the decision to call. We did an at-home euthanasia service, so I called and scheduled an appointment for Tuesday of this past week. And so we spent, I basically cleared. It was very fortunate. I was very blessed that this week I did not have a ton of stuff that was super time critical. And so I basically cleared Monday and Tuesday, and I didn't do anything from a work standpoint. We took Joey to the lake. He loved to swim. He dived for rocks and everything. So we spent 2 solid days at the lake just playing with him. And then Tuesday we had the people come out to the house, and we put him down with the whole family surrounding him. We took him out to the new property where we're currently building the new studio. And as a family, we buried him. So that was my week. That is how we started the week, and that is how this week has progressed. So now that we're on the backside of really a week and a half of me not doing anything, these past 4 days have just been an absolute whirlwind, because now I'm playing catch up. I was supposed to be getting on top of things at the beginning of this week, and unfortunately having to deal with that dropped in my lap. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, like, I'm presenting this as if it's just factual and this is what happened, and yeah, it sucked. In reality, I have been a hot freaking mess for the majority of this week, bawling like a baby. I mean, this was my dog. I mean, it was the family dog, but Joey was really my dog. And so it's been brutal. It's been absolutely brutal. So I know a lot of you guys can relate. I see Shane just mentioned that your wife lost her dog last month. I mean, you guys know it's absolutely brutal. So I hate to be the big downer in the room, but at the same time, that's kind of giving you guys a little bit of backstory as to why we had to cancel the live stream last Sunday. Why I've been relatively radio silent on most of social media and everything. My wife's been continuing to post, but you may have noticed I've not been responding. If I do, it's very, very sporadic. So that's where we're at. That is why I'm not quite so chipper this evening. But anyway, that is a quick update on life. Sorry that I had to bring it down, but but I want to keep you guys informed as to what's going on. So that's where we're at. But anyway, let's go back into the comments here. Zenon, we did all the rollers and bearings on the undercarriage this past week. $1,500 for the 10 mid-track rollers. That is the one thing about track machines, Zenon. It is anything having to do with the undercarriage is ridiculously expensive. So if there's one piece of advice I can give you, if you are going to be using that for jobs for yourself, make sure you are charging enough to not only cover your hourly rate as an operator, make sure you're covering the actual machine time, and start stocking some money away in the bank for all of your repairs. That's a mistake a lot of rookies make, is they only think about fuel and their time, and they don't allocate anything to the actual machine. But you're going to have tracks that are going to be replaced. You're going to have rollers and sprockets that are going to be replaced. You're going to have oil changes and regular maintenance items. Hoses are going to break. So you do need to stockpile some money into a fund just to take care of all that stuff as you go. Let's see here, Nick. Oh, you're sticking around for a while. Well, look at us. I'm starting to feel fancy and special. We got Bacardi Mojito. I don't know that I've had one of those mojitos before. I'm trying to think. But if I remember right, those are supposed to be pretty good. Ryan, finally got another operator to work with, and I went to high school with him, so that's been really good. Unfortunately, my foreman seems to think he's completely my responsibility. Well, and my foreman doesn't want to find things for him to do. He just wants me to sit. He just wants him to sit and watch me, which is frustrating both of us, because then I end up doing everything and he just has to sit all day. Yeah, it sounds like you got a pretty crappy foreman that needs to actually learn how to delegate. Brandon, so I sexualize flowers, and you mean those stamens. What are you talking about, Brandon? We've already gone too far that I forget even what you would have been referencing with that comment. And I'm looking at the drink here. I don't even know. I don't even know, Ryan or Brandon, whoever I'm talking to. Dave Lapointe, what union and local were you in? I was in the local 324 of the IUOE, right? IUOE. International Union of Operating Engineers. Local 324. Jeff, what's going on, man? Good to see you. It's been a while. AP spent the afternoon watching back through a fair few of your videos. Hour or two passed easily. I appreciate the support. All of you guys that are consistently watching the content, commenting, all of that helps, and I really, really appreciate it. And on that note, well, a couple things here. First of all, Sweat and Grime. If you don't subscribe to Sweat and Grime, absolutely go to whatever podcasting platform you want. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Podcaster, Amazon Music, we're everywhere. Go subscribe to Sweat and Grime. That's our Skilled Trades podcast. It's a riot. We actually recorded one the other night that I was, even after just putting my dog down, I was in tears. I was laughing so hard. So really, really good content. So far, we've gotten a ton of positive feedback from it, and it's growing pretty rapidly for a podcast. So check it out. Second thing I wanted to tell you is we're going to have some changes coming to the Diesel and Iron channel here pretty quick. I have to operate off of statistics, right? Because that's what drives everything. And right now, our vlogs are not performing very well at all. They will get maybe a third of the views that our Down and Dirties do. Which begs the question, why am I pouring a bunch of time and money into creating the vlogs if there's only like 350 people that even care to watch them? So what we are going to do, we are actually going to have a couple more vlogs that post up, and then you will actually see vlogs drop off of the channel. We are going to a Monday only posting schedule with the Down and Dirties, and then we will have random other posts. So we will occasionally, if you guys are familiar with Ken White Construction, Taylor White's channel, we're going to move to something like that where maybe every month and a half, we'll throw out a 15-minute vlog or so and just kind of update you on all of the things that we've been up to. But it's going to be a very high overview. It's not going to be the day-to-day gritty of what we're doing on the job. All of our vlogs, and for those of you who actually watch the vlogs, I'm going to apologize because we're just going to go and repost all the vlogs. We're going to pull all of the vlogs off of Diesel and Iron, and we are going to move them. Some of you guys may remember we had a Diesel and Iron vlog channel. That channel is still there. It's just not been active. We are going to start posting all of those vlogs on that vlog channel, with the idea being most people that are subscribing to Diesel and Iron want the tips. They don't care about the vlog. And that's why we're having a hard time growing our vlog audience. But if I have a dedicated vlog channel, that's only going to attract people that want to watch the vlog. So All that being said, we are going to start posting, and it's going to be all the old vlogs. We're just going to start working our way through the catalog. So we've got about a year and a half worth of vlogs that are just going to start posting once a week over there on the vlog channel. And they're going to kind of run on autopilot. Diesel and Iron is only going to be Down and Dirties, the occasional vlog update. I will do updates for you guys, and then we're going to do equipment reviews. We're continuing to try to get more equipment in so that we can do more equipment reviews and we can become a resource for you guys on that front. So all that to say, we got some big changes coming. I'm hoping it will kind of help streamline the workflow. It will ease up a little of my time, and it's going to give you guys more of the content that you're actually wanting. And if you want to watch the vlogs, like I said, they're going to post. You're just not going to see any new content for a while. We're going to work our way back through the old catalog. It's just going to be on a separate channel. So all that to say, let's get back into it. Let's see here. Action Plaza. You need an A on the end so I could call you Action Plaza. What's going on? You are from Guyana too. That's awesome. And I do appreciate the comments on putting the dog down, guys. I really do appreciate that. You guys know how rough that is. And it's nice to have a community kind of supporting you through a pretty rough time. So anyway, I'm going to angle you guys just a hair more that way, maybe? Okay. There we go. Nick, question, Brian, for your forks on wheel loader, do you use something special to grease them when you have to adjust them? Because I use white grease spray, but it doesn't last long. So Nick, that's a great question, and that is actually a down and dirty that I want to make at some point in time here. I actually use regular grease, but what I will do is I'll take my grease gun and I will squirt out about 3 or 4 squirts of grease, and then I'll just kind of slide it along the top where those forks slide back and forth. Don't do more than that. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it to where there's still enough friction that your forks, you know, the second you're on an angle, your forks aren't all sliding over to one side, but it's going to grease them enough that you can go up, you can set your forks down and rub them on something to move them wherever you need to situate them. Just go, and that'll last probably 2 weeks before you have to do it again. So you don't have to do that super frequently. That's the nice thing about using actual grease and being sparing with it. Now the downside is if you do go overboard, it's like 2 weeks of you, anytime you get on an angle, your forks just whoosh, all the way over to one side. It's a pain in the ass, and it takes you about 2 weeks unless you throw a little dirt on there and kind of mix it in with that grease just to give you a little more friction. Is it the best for the forks? No, but it is what it is, guys. We got to do what we got to do. And it's not like you're going to wear a set of forks out just because you throw a little dirt into your grease to kind of give you some more friction. Let's see here. Boom. Let's see. Shane. Yes, we commented on that. Action. I appreciate the comment, man. I really do. Thank you guys so much for following along. I can't tell you how much it means that you guys follow along with me. You watch the channel and then you comment. Like, I get so much feedback from you guys. That's what really drives me to keep doing this. I love the fact that I get feedback from you guys. And don't hesitate. You see my email scrolling down here at the bottom of the screen. Don't hesitate to reach out. I respond to you guys. In fact, I talked to one of my guys on the phone this afternoon. And I'm happy to coach. I'm happy to give advice. Happy to help you out if you got questions about the industry. Northeast Ohio Farmer. Yes, sir, I did. The Hoodig is up. Not only did I do a review, but there is a vlog with the Hoodig as well. And that is that was an awesome machine. Go check it out. It is a long review. I was thorough. I did, because that was a European machine in an American market. I really wanted to be thorough on the review of the machine and how to use it and how it differentiates from other machines you're used to. So it's a 45-minute long review, but I will absolutely say it's worth it. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, my lord, my lord. Do I have a query excavator? I don't know what query means. We don't own an excavator, if that's what you're asking. So Rick and I have an interesting business model. For those of you who kind of haven't picked up on it from watching the vlogs, the way Rick and I do things is we have his skid steer, and I think we are coming up on probably around 8 to 10 attachments. So it's really versatile. We can use it in a lot of different applications. And then what we do is we go rent the excavator of the size that we need for the job, and that gives us a ton of versatility. So we can take on the small landscape wall projects because we can go rent a 5 or an 8 ton machine. We can go take on basement digs because we can go rent a 15 to 20 ton machine. We can go take on big land clears because we can go rent a 21 ton, you know, a 20 ton to a 30 ton machine. Or if we get into a pond dig, we can rent a 30 to a 45 ton machine. It gives us that versatility that we can rent the machine that we need on the excavator side. But we've always got the skid steer, which is able to do, I don't know, probably 80 to 90% of all the other stuff we need. If we need a dozer, if the skid doesn't really cut it for what we need to do, we can rent a dozer. But man, that skid just, it works into so many different jobs that we do. Renting an excavator as opposed to buying 3 or 4 different machines has really been the way to go. We've got Amuniki. Question, Brian, how do I get a good average to avoid scratching my counterweight? So what I would do is the way I've always done it is swing your machine so that it is perpendicular to your tracks. So if your tracks are running this way and the top of your machine is here, we're going to swing the machine so that it's sitting like this, and then physically get out of the machine and look at how far your counterweight's overhanging, and kind of just get a mental gauge for that. You know, on a 15 ton machine, you're probably going to have about 1.5 feet, 2 foot, maybe 2.5 foot, somewhere in there. I don't know without looking at it offhand. Call it a 3 foot overhang. Mentally make a note that you have a 3 foot overhang for your counterweight hanging over your tracks. And then just be a little conservative. So if, let's say we're tracking up against a wall, make sure you're about 4 to 5 feet away from it. Another way to think about it, most of the time, this is depending on the machine, and this is where you need to get out and actually visually inspect your machine. Most of the time, your counterweight, when you are in line with your tracks, will actually be flush with your tracks. And so another way to do this is, as you're tracking along and you get up against that wall, look at the front of your tracks and think, if you were to turn the machine sideways, would the front of your tracks be in contact with that wall or not? If they're not going to be in contact with the wall, you're all right. You've got swing room. The other thing I'll tell you is, instead of being that guy that swings full force and goes bump, oh, I guess I didn't have enough room, swing slow and generally swing over so that your driver's side counterweight is going to come into contact with something first. Because you can actually, if you pop your door open, you can lean out and look down the side of the machine, and you should be able to get a decent feel of whether or not your counterweight's going to rub. That's the best way. It's just be conservative until you really get a feel for the machine. But at the end of the day, it just takes seat time and experience to get a feel for where your machine is and kind of where you need to sit, or when you're close enough that you need to get out and do a visual check. Now, this has all gotten a lot easier now that we have cameras all over the machines, because now you have a quick way without even having to get out of the machine that you can check that. But if you don't have the cameras, that's generally how I do that. Action, we lost 5 dogs. Oof, that's rough, man. That is rough. 1 is enough. Colton, if I had to decide between operating heavy equipment and hauling it from job to job, I'd rather be the guy in the equipment while I load it on my truck. So I know that's done the way I want to get it done. I don't know what that's referencing, Colton, but I agree, and most drivers will agree. That's why, even though I'm a skilled operator, I don't ever volunteer to jump up in the machine and unload it or load it from a low boy, because most of those guys are pretty picky. They want things done a certain way. The only thing I do is I will throw on a set of gloves and I will help them chain or unchain the machine, just because I've always felt that that's kind of a respectful thing to do. If they're taking the time to haul your equipment around, you should be willing to actually help them chain down and unchain. So, but when it comes to actually operating the machine, about the only time I will jump in the seat is if the driver doesn't have any idea how to operate it. A great example was the Hoodig. That driver had never seen one of those, didn't know the first thing about how to load it or unload it. So I did do that for the driver. But if they know how to operate the equipment to the ability that they can get it on the trailer, I don't do it. I respect that's their realm, that's their equipment. They can take care of it. So let's see here. The Canadian, always remember to charge a show up fuck off fee. Yes, too many forget about charge for hauling equipment in and out. Yeah, and I'll tell you, between overhead and your mobilization costs, you can very quickly eat through that margin that you thought you had on your job, and you won't even know it. That's the thing. You don't realize you ate through your margin until it comes to the end of the year and you go, oh, why didn't I make any money? I thought I made way more money than this. Well, that's why. You're not charging for mobilization, even though that's costing you time, fuel, maintenance on your truck, maintenance on your trailer, tires. You're also, you've got a, what was the other part? I totally lost my train of thought. Never mind. Never mind. We're going to carry on with the live stream. Sweet Jesus. Oh, there you go. Canadian 793. Action. This week, I blew a hydraulic line. Yes, that's always a good time blowing hydraulic lines, especially when you blow one that is spraying the entire cab of the machine so you can't see anything. So, yeah, that's a good time. Colton, I will remember if I start driving semi, Canadian, operating a hoe. Oh, yes, that is sexual. Absolutely. Let's go. The Canadian, I love Kim White. He's in my city. Oh, okay, so you're up there. So, at some point in time, we had Ken White on Sweat and Grime, and I've talked to him a handful of times. I'd like to get up there and see him, but unfortunately, that border situation, I don't know. I haven't checked on it recently, but with COVID, there was no way I was getting across the border. Now my schedule has picked up to the point that I can't make it over there right now. So hopefully in the next year or so, I can make it over there. Let's see here. Colton, for the truckers in here, 18 speed Eaton or 6x4 Spicer. I don't know that I've ever driven a 6x4. So I've always been the 18 speed. Damn, the vlog channel has less than 500 subs. That's criminal. That one was just a slow grower, and not many people discovered it right off the bat, but I'm hoping we can start pushing that and we can kind of grow it up. But I bet we're 2 years away from getting a decent amount of subscribers. I'm hoping in the next 8 months I can achieve 1,000 subscribers. But that comes down to you guys. You got to help me push this stuff. You got to help me grow this channel, Sweat and Grime, the vlog channel. Got to get the word out there, because unless people know about it, it's just kind of hit or miss if people find it. So, Lonely Bison, I don't know that I've seen you in here. Any tips on quitting a job? Been working for a guy and it's been hard to bring up the topic because he's very emotionally unstable. So, I have a couple tips. Pieces of advice for you. The first is give him a proper 2 weeks. That is, I know we're in an industry where it is kind of accepted that people are just going to quit tomorrow. I am and will always be a firm believer that it doesn't matter if that's what a lot of the people in the industry do. That is unbelievably unprofessional. You're putting your employer in a spot that is really, really going to mess with their business. The proper professional thing to do is to give your employer a proper 2 weeks notice. And when it comes to this conversation, you don't even have to have the true conversation. Type out a note, get on Word or Google Docs or whatever you need to use, and just a quick to whom it may concern, or you can use your boss's name. This is me putting in my 2 weeks notice. Circumstances have changed and I've decided to look for opportunities elsewhere. My last day will be on, and then list your date. Sincerely, your name, and then sign it. That's all you need to do. Put it in an envelope, hand that to your boss, and when you hand it to your boss, say, hey boss, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but I wanted to give you my 2 weeks notice. And that's it. Where he goes from there is entirely up to him. And you don't have to engage. It doesn't matter what he says. If you've made the decision that you're going to go to another company, you don't have to give in to him. You don't have to listen to him berate you. I don't know what your relationship is with your employer, but you just have to be professional. You've handed in your 2 weeks notice. You're all good. And you can let him vent. You can say, hey, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to put you in a bind, but here's where I'm at. But that's the entirety of the conversation. It doesn't need to go any further than that. So that's how I would go about quitting a job. Sorry it took me so long to get to your comment. We are really cranking here. So let's see here. Man, we are cranking. I am way back. Sorry, guys. Woo, my dump truck just got stuck. Oh boy. What are you doing watching a live stream driving a dump truck? Come on now. Ragnar Adventures, what's going on? We got some new faces in here. That's exciting. Find another gig and fuck off. No, the Canadian, damn it. You're going totally against what I just told him. Come on now. Randall Blundell Dunkerley. That is a mouthful. The Canadian, where in the Great White North are you from? John Birtle, what's the best way to find land clearing work? Direct mail to farmers, advice please. You can do paid Facebook advertising. You can do Craigslist ads. You can do Facebook Marketplace ads. You can do Instagram ads. If you really want to get fancy, hop on LinkedIn. LinkedIn actually gives you the ability to really, really drill down into your audience, who you want to target. You can target people making over $250,000 a year. Like, that's how technical you can get with LinkedIn ads. So you can really pinpoint people in your area that are making a good amount of money, and you got a ton of criteria. All of those are great ways to go about finding land clears. And then, you know, if you see a piece of property that's up for sale that's totally overgrown, call the realtor. Call the realtor and ask who the homeowner is and see if they'd be willing to put you in contact to see if they want to clear the lot to maybe up the value of the property a little bit. But those are all good ways to go hustle. Let's see here. Hello from Canada, the Beer Dork. What's going on? Another new face, not a familiar face. AP, hopefully getting my excavator license soon, fingers crossed. Except you went full Scottish and you went hopefully getting me excavator license soon. I love the fact that you put the Scottish accent in there. It's beautiful. Congratulations, AP, that's awesome. And you should tell us when you actually get it so we can crack a beer in your honor. That's awesome. Exciting stuff. Canadian, if your forks aren't hydraulic, you need to push to move them. Please, please, please make your job easier and tip them as far forward as they go. Save you so much effort. That's if you're manually doing it. But the Canadian, you can actually, a true pipe loader operator, you don't ever get out of the cab. You don't mess with your forks. Pipe forks actually slide on a rod back and forth. They don't actually lock into the slots. Those are pallet forks. They're totally different. They're miserable to use on a pipe job. What you do is you actually put just a tiny amount of grease, like we were talking about, on that top rod that they slide on, and it creates just enough friction that they will stay in place when you're rocking side to side. But if you go and set your fork, so let's say this is my fork, you can imagine the back here. If you set your fork on something and then twist your loader side to side, now you're looking head on, you can actually cause that fork to scoot back and forth as you wiggle the loader. That way you don't ever have to get out of your cab. You can just wiggle them into place. I'm gonna try to do it down and dirty on that. The problem is I don't have a set of pipe forks anywhere. So I'm trying to work with, we're starting to get in a relationship with Michigan Cat a little bit. And so I'm going to try to get a hold of one of their machines with a set of pipe forks, even if it's in their yard. And I'm going to try to make it down and dirty on that exact thing. So, but yes, if you have pallet forks, absolutely tip your forks forward. There's a happy medium, because if you tip them all the way forward, you actually start to create, you increase drag because it's actually cocked on the back where it hangs. There's a happy medium to where you just tilt it forward, and you can see it if you're watching close and you're going slow. You can see it in the cab where those forks will actually start to lean away from the backrest just a little bit. That's the sweet spot. That's where they haven't got gravity really torquing on them, but you have got gravity pulling them away from that backstop to decrease friction for you. Let's see here. Right on. How's it going over there? Ambitious Jay, what's going on? Hey Brian, what's going on? Meant to ask you, does the Case Minis have an option for an angle blade? As of their latest model, they do have the option for an angle blade. Now, where in my mind, yet another example of Case getting 95% of the way there and then fumbling across the finish line, instead of making it a true 4-way blade, you can only angle it off to one side. It is what it is, guys. I try to talk sense into Case. They just, they don't listen to me. I'm sorry. But yes, they are now offering the angle blade on their minis as of the latest series, I should say. Canadian, he meant quarry excavator. That's what I'm wondering. That was what I was wondering. Let's talk about scrapers. What do you want to talk about, scrapers, Ragnar? I'll talk scrapers with you. Graders are cool, but you can buy a skid steer attachment that can do the same thing. Yes, and it will run you about $20,000, $20,000. And it is unreal what you can do with a laser grade system or 3D GPS with one of those grader blades for a skid steer. Is it going to keep pace with a full-size 140 grader? No. But you can get a crap load of work done with one of those, and you're spending far less cash. Let's see here, Randall. That's back and forth with them. Colton, if you're drunk, don't operate any equipment. Safety is #1 priority. Great life advice. I don't know who that was directed at. I don't know who was talking about operating drunk, but absolutely do not operate equipment under the influence because you will kill yourself quick or somebody else. Lonely Bison, not sure how to bring up the topic though. He knows that I'm 18, still live with my parents. I've worked with him since I was a junior in high school, never had to bring it up. Don't be afraid of it. So I will say this, don't be afraid of those sort of conversations. Don't shy away from them. It's daunting. I'm not going to lie. As an 18-year-old kid, especially if you've never quit a job before, that is a very daunting conversation. But you have to understand that out in the real world, this is a regular occurrence. People grow out of their current position. They have other opportunities come across their plate. They want a change of pace. This is just part of life. And so if your boss man starts to really give you fits about it, that's his problem, and you shouldn't be working for him anyway. But at the same time, you don't need to be afraid of that conversation. This is not you failing him. This is not you letting him down. This is just you need to do what's right for you. Just go about it in a professional manner. Give him a written 2 weeks notice and stay true to that 2 weeks. Now, if he says, get out of here, you're not going to need to stick around for 2 weeks if he's the one releasing you. But if he doesn't release you, you need to give him the full 2 weeks. That is the professional way to quit a job. That needs to be the standard. Even in our industry, guys, that needs to be the standard. This whole I'm out, I won't be here tomorrow stuff, that's gotta stop. That's gotta stop. It's not good. Action. I don't own a dozer. The dozer is another piece of equipment that we rent when we need it, just because most of our jobs, our skid steer is sufficient for 95% of what we do. And then we will rent a dozer to supplement. So, I only load wheeled equipment. Might not work with some trailers. Stay safe. All right, Ragnar, it was good seeing you. We'll see you later. For the larger machines like the next gen 395, I think it's much more difficult to average where the counterweight is, even with the cameras. Don't know if you disagree. So with those guys, honestly, you're really going to have to just spend some time in the machine and get a feel for it. The generally speaking, those 395s, those things will overhang the tracks probably by like 4 or 5 feet. So as long as you've got it to where your track base away from whatever, or half a track base away from whatever the obstacle is you're worried about, you should have enough clearance. Plus 5 feet, half of a track base plus 5 feet, you should have enough clearance. But again, it's one of those things. If you got laborers, if you're running a 395, chances are you got some laborers around. When in doubt, ask one of the laborers to just spot you. It's super quick, takes no time, doesn't slow you down. So, Ryan, I don't think the border is too bad. I've been driving by the Blue Water Bridge, and every morning the signs of the highway leading to state traffic is minimal. It's not so much the traffic, it's more will they let me through? Because for a long time we were the filthy Americans that you couldn't get across the border. They wouldn't let you. So, let's see here. Let me know, is the stream quality still good, or are we getting choppy? It kind of looks like it's getting a little choppy on my end, but I don't know what's going on. Let me know. When it comes to 395s, that size, we always had a cone perimeter, so people know not to go anywhere near that. Machines that big, their swing zones and blind spots are no joke. Absolutely, 100%, and that's why I say, you're going to have some laborers around you. Use a laborer to spot you. That's no big deal. Ryan, and that bridge would probably be 2.5. Yeah, exactly. What's going on, Dozer? Dennis, good to see you, man. How's your summer been? It has been a while since I've seen Dennis. He's been a busy man. I've been a busy man, and as a result, we haven't connected at all. Good to see you. Really good to see you. Let's see here. Hello from Brazil, mining engineer that watches your videos to learn some tips on those heavy machines. Andre, thank you so much. That is awesome. We have yet another country. We've got Brazil now in here, which is slick. And Andre, thank you so much for the support. If there's anything I can help you with or any questions you need, right there, look at the bottom of the screen. Boom, contact at Diesel and Iron Productions. Feel free to reach out. I am happy to answer questions for you guys. And if I can't answer them, I'll go find someone that knows, because I'm generally curious too. Lever Monkey, I never move forks by hand. My man, that's what I'm talking about. A true operator doesn't move forks by hand. That is for the peasants. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. AP, Been getting some more practice in before I do have my test. Been driving a Volvo 220EL and a Volvo 140. I'm assuming that 220EL is a wheeled excavator, if I had to guess. And the Volvo 140, is that wheels? Or is that just their 140, their little 14-ton machine? What is that, a zero swing? I don't know. I don't know the Volvos that well. Ryan, pallet forks are terrible on skid steers with swinging doors. You can't tip the forks forward because then you can't open the door. Skid steer, any skid steer attachment with a backing plate on it is terrible because you can't open the door, which is why I generally will just decouple the attachment before I get out of the machine, because I ain't gonna fool with that. And I'm over it. Let's see here. Oh, man, I thought I was getting caught up, but you guys are just chatting it up. My goodness. So Richard, it's going a little slower on your TV. So I don't want to dip out because I don't want everyone to leave the stream. But earlier when it was doing this, when I got out of my streaming software, it magically caught up. So I don't know. If it gets bad, let me know, and we will actually shut the stream down for a second. Within 2 minutes, I'll be back and we can roll, and hopefully the signal will get better. So you guys tell me if we need to do that, but I don't think we're there yet. Let's see here. Action. That you're a really experienced heavy equipment operator. I have to go and help my dad because he left his rear bumper. Okay. Action. Thanks for hanging out. I apologize about your dad's bumper, and hopefully we'll see her again soon. That's why doors that open vertically are better. Colton, agreed. The problem is now you've got a taller machine because they have to account for that overhead door. That is the conundrum that all of the engineers are in when they are designing these skid steer cabs. It's great to have that overhead door, but to get the clearance, you have to have a taller cab. Taller cab means, guess what? Now your guys that are doing, the garage floors in new construction, guys that are doing demos inside buildings, stuff like that, they can't use your machine because it's too tall. Let's see here. Only one side tilt. Yikes. Yeah, 100%. That's the kind of the way I feel about I know it's typical case. They get it 95% of the way there and then they fumble across the finish line. Ryan, you don't have to convince me. Colton just started Kubota. And yep. I always say when green laborers don't realize the danger of equipment, I tell them I'm in a 20 to 30 ton machine. If an accident happens, it will maybe get a scratch. You will get crushed and die. The real true statement is people are the softest things on job sites. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. You could have a bunk of pipe. You could have a bunk of 2-inch pipe. I could pick up a 10-foot stick of 2-inch pipe all day long and it ain't gonna do anything to me. And yet, if a loader were to come by and a bunk of 2-inch pipe fell on me, I'm done. We are the softest things on the job site, and we have to keep that in mind because it really doesn't take much. Trench cave-ins are another beautiful example. No one really understands the danger of a trench cave-in until you are directly involved in one, because it's just hard to grasp the concept that a dirt clod is going to hurt me. But at the same time, if you think about taking a rock or a dirt clod that's this big around and you were to try to manually pick that up, physically lift it, that's a heavy chunk of dirt. But you're talking about dumping a full loader bucket on someone when a bank gives way in a trench. You're talking about a full loader bucket. That's probably 10,000 pounds of dirt coming down on top of you. There is a common misconception that most guys will actually suffocate because of a trench collapse. That's not actually true, because if you think about the amount of weight, unless your head and your chest is the majority above the dirt, that dirt has enough weight that it will physically cave your chest in. It will crush you. It breaks bones as the trench caves in. You don't just kind of get dirt on top of you. There is broken bones, your legs snap, your bones snap, and if it is on top of you, it will crush your chest. That's the reality of trench cave-ins. So you got to bear it in mind that we are the softest things on job sites. So anyway, let's see here. I'm getting a note from YouTube that that it's not like in the stream quality. Tell me, guys, do we need to shut her down and refire it up? You tell me what's going on here. We got 22 of us in here. I hate to shut it down with this many people in it. Come on now, baby. Come on. I don't know why we're having an issue with the streaming software tonight. I really don't. Anyway, let's see here. Where are we at in the comments? Ryan, when do you think Rick will buy the Minotaur when K starts mass producing? No, doubtful. Just because of what we do, the Minotaur wouldn't necessarily be a good fit for us. It would kind of be overkill for a lot of what we do, but on the bigger jobs, it would be too small. So we wouldn't really get the benefit out of it as opposed to some other contractors. Now, that being said, I'm supposed to go run the Minotaur here in about 2 weeks. Yes. So Randall Riley is sending me to Tomahawk to go run the Minotaur here in about 2 to 4 weeks. I'm not sure exactly what the dates are yet. We're still trying to hone it in, but I'm going to do a review of the Minotaur, and I get to spend a day in the machine. So I will absolutely let you guys know what I think, overall, quality of the machine, how good it grades, all that stuff. I will absolutely let you guys know. Okay, you guys are saying stay at it. I'm gonna stay at it. Again, you guys tell me if the quality gets bad enough. We need to restart the stream, but we'll keep at it. Let's see here, Colton. At least there you go. Quality still okay. Quality still good. Got to check in there. Amuniki, do you develop positioning skills over time, like to get work started correctly, to get it done faster? Sometimes really confusing to approach the job. Yes, 100%. So if you think about it, the first time you did a puzzle, like a jigsaw puzzle, you probably just kind of haphazardly went at it. But after you've done a couple puzzles, you start to realize, oh, if I focus on the edges and get the edges done, I can do that pretty quick. And then if I can focus on one area of the puzzle and get all of those pieces together, I can get that area of the puzzle done a lot quicker than just randomly trying to match things up. It's the same with anything in the excavating world. When you first go out there on a job site, it's difficult. You don't really know where to start. You don't really know what the end goal is. You don't know how to get the dirt where it needs to go most efficiently. Or if you're starting a basement dig, how do you do that basement dig in the most efficient manner? But over time, you start to learn, oh, okay, if I do this first, if I dig this edge and this edge first, now I got a really clean spot and I can work my way around this way quicker. That will come with time. And it also comes with just watching other operators. That's why I always tell people, when you're on a job site, watch other operators. Make sure that you're always paying attention, because you will learn those. That's where you get those skills from, is by watching how other people tackle jobs. And you can look over and you can do one of two things. You can totally agree with the way the guy's approaching the job. You can say, hey, I'm going to do that next time. Or, this is what a lot of people don't understand. It is totally acceptable as a green operator to look over and go, that guy, that guy has no idea what he's doing. I would totally approach that differently and I would be faster. That is a legit comment to have as a green operator. Now, do you have the skills to necessarily go do that right now? No, you may not, and that's totally fine. What's important is you recognize the concept. The concept of what needs to happen is what's important. Okay, so I'm seeing that views are dropping off. Oh, you know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do let me know if I'm back online, guys. What is going on here? Is anybody there? Anybody there? Oh. Can you guys hear me at all? Let me know if you guys can hear me, because this thing is totally crapping out. That's it, Ryan. YouTube just totally ruins the fun. That is totally it. All right, guys, we will do this again next week. We will do it. Oh, so if audio's working, it's totally up to you guys. If you guys want to roll with audio only, I can totally keep rolling with the audio. Yeah, that's totally up to you guys. If you guys are good with me, the problem is you guys get to sit here and stare at my very awkward face because the stream is cutting out. But if you guys are good with staring at my crappy looking faces as it's choppy, I will continue to talk into the microphone here. So I know, Darren, that's the problem. YouTube has decided for whatever reason tonight that it's okay. We're going Canadian. Canadian has officially called it. We are going. We don't care that it's choppy video, guys. We are going right at it. So we're going back up here to the comments so I can figure out where the heck I left off here. Bum 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 bum. Man, where are we? Man, I didn't realize we were this far behind in the comments. Sweet Jesus. Do you like to? Okay, there we go. So we talked about that. Got some chop. Okay, David is probably not in here anymore. But I'm excited that his YouTube video is, sweet Jesus, Brian, can't even talk. I'm all over the place. I'm excited his operating journey is starting up. Let's see here, Ryan, I've seen a fair number of Michigan plates over here, so I would now, maybe I'll come across the border then. Maybe I will cross the border then, Ryan. We'll have to see. Let's see here, Canadian got a heavy equipment operator achievement this week. Got a dozer stuck real good for the first time. They had me on an unpacked cluster F of a fill pile, mixed with, oh, that's nice, after a record rainfall with vac truck. Yeah, that's going to be a soup coming out of a vac truck. Well, you know what? You learned a good lesson, Canadian. That everyone's been stuck in a dozer. That's just part of it. AP, no, both are track machines. 220EL is the same. Oh, I didn't realize that's the one that Chris had. I gotcha. Okay, isn't a zero. So I didn't have any idea what either one of those machines were. Thank you for confirming. I have no idea what I'm doing, AP. I appreciate it. So then we had more comments. Really appreciate the advice. Been really loading on responsibility with me running solo pipe jobs and fixing, maintaining his fleet. Learned a lot, but man, it's rough. You know what? That's the way to learn, though. It's those situations that really teach. So do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do. Oh, it's dirt perfect. I thought you meant let's dig. Okay, I'm with you. Loving the down and dirty helps a lot. Thanks for putting in the time. Thanks for watching, Aaron. I know you're probably not here anymore because my stream quality is such hot garbage. But yes, thank you for supporting the channel by actually watching the down and dirties. I appreciate it. And if you guys have down and dirty ideas that you want to see, tell me, because I am constantly taking requests. Let's see here. Ryan, Brian, I have to disagree with you to the extent on the tall cab with a vertical door. The John Deere I'm in is every bit as tall as the Kubota. Oh, well, that's interesting. Super busy and pissed at YouTube. They deleted a video of Dominic operating an excavator 8 years old. Someone thought I was endangering a minor. Give me a break. That's ridiculous, Dennis. I apologize that you're having to deal with that. That is, yeah, that's ridiculous. And what happens if I do this? What if I just refresh the page? Is the video coming through at all for you guys, or is the video pretty much entirely dead? You tell me, guys, because I'm still under the impression you guys are just listening to me. Boom. Where were we at? Where were we at? Super. Okay, so there's that. Ryan, there was a trench collapse about 2 hours away from me last Monday. 2 dead, and they didn't find them until the next morning. And that's it. Trench collapses. It's no joke, man. It's no joke. We had a load of rebar come off a truck onto the driver. That was a 49er stadium build. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. Desiree, are you part of the Equipment World publication? The Built Robotics podcast was great. That is me. That is, I host their show, The Dirt, on their YouTube channel for Equipment World. Yep, that is me. And that's where I get a lot of the contacts for the actual podcast. So Sweat and Grime, that podcast is, and our Dealer Lowdown podcast. That is, those are both publications that I put out. You keep glitching, but it's okay. Audio stream's fine. Okay, so we got a slideshow, and you guys are saying it's in and out. It is what it is. You guys stick around as long as you want. If we need to wrap this up early, we'll wrap it up early. But I am committed, if you guys are, that I will stay until 9 o'clock. So another 30 minutes. Yeah, I apologize about the stream, guys. I don't know what I've got going on here, but YouTube is... it's YouTube. It's YouTube. Anyway. By the way, one of the things that we're talking about doing in the background is, now that we're not going to do the vlogs on this channel, we're talking about actually putting together a training curriculum that you would subscribe to on a separate platform, and it would be in its prime. Once we get this thing up and off the ground, we would start probably $10 a month. Once it's up off the ground, it would be $200 a year, and that would give you access to the entire platform. But it would be the down and dirties times 100. It would be very much geared towards get you a little suction cup mount, throw your phone in the cab with you, put the videos on, and we're going to learn how to operate this machine together. We're talking about Rick and I would really invest a serious amount of time into putting a training curriculum together. So that's another thing too I should get your opinion on. Let me know if that's of interest. If you really want to, and it would be all the way from the bare basics of a walk around of the machine, how to grease the machine, how to check fluids, to more advanced, getting into 2D machine control, 3D machine control, how to do extreme slopes, how to lay pipe in an excavator, how to cut grade accurately. I mean, we would get into more advanced topics too. So it would really run the gamut of the whole spectrum of operating. So let me know if that's of interest, because that's something we are considering hardcore putting together, and it would be a paid platform, and it would be a subscription-based service. So if that's of interest, we will 100% go pursue that. So all that being said, that's YouTube ruining the fun. That's kind of why we're talking about doing this third-party platform. Oh my Lord, that was rude. I apologize. That was so rude. Let's see here. Boom. Ambish J, I think we should get the double triple vid drop this week for technical difficulties. Jay, if I had the flipping time, man, I am so overwhelmed with everything at the moment. It's unreal. Let's see here. Video stop, go, good again, send it. AP, put it, load type screen when you start and end stream. Yeah, the problem, with the way all this software works, it is a complicated mess on this side, AP. It's not just a very quick, go to a load screen, and then it has to do with the way my streaming software is communicating with YouTube. For whatever reason, it's dropping a ton of frames, and we're having issues connecting with YouTube. And I know it is YouTube because I have nothing else running using the internet connection. There's no excuse for why it's struggling right now. And I can go to any web page and it will load right up. So it's clearly something between my streaming software and YouTube that's going on. And it's not on this end. It's not my computer. The computer is barely working. So I don't know. I don't know. As a green operator, I have found that I can learn lots by watching other operators and how they approach task. I also found a good operator is more than happy to give advice. Yes, good operators. I won't say that because there are some good operators that are total pricks, but good people will not have any problem giving you advice and helping you out and trying to teach you. And the industry needs more of that for sure. Let's see here. Don't be scared to ask for advice. 100%. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. And that's the other thing too, is a lot of operators won't go out of their way to tell you something because they don't want to be pretentious. But if you ask, I would say probably 8 times out of 10, most of your operators are going to be more than happy to share their knowledge or talk you through something or show you something. You just have to ask. So don't be afraid to ask. You are not going to look like an idiot. Everyone realizes that's how you learn in this industry. So don't be afraid. Brian, I'll let you know if I come across the border, Ryan. I ain't going to leave you high and dry. Riley, we had a dozer in an area roll over into a 20-foot trench. Holy crap. Oops. I bet that guy had to change his pants too. Shane, I'm getting closer to being in charge of training all the new operators and helping the MIG guys get faster. Dude, Shane, that's awesome, man. That what a great position for you. I mean, you are a really, really good teacher. You've got a lot of valuable skills. I don't know if it's what you want or not, but for the sake of the new generation, I hope you get that spot because you will be a true asset to that company. AP, I am also a fan of the zero swing excavators. Those suckers can lift like nobody's business. Riley, what's going on from Florida? How is the heat and the humidity down there? My God, you've got some ball sweat going on. Video coming through, a bit choppy, slideshow, video stops, badass. Hey, thanks for the podcast comment. I appreciate it. AP zero swings are nice in tight areas, but otherwise I'll take the full count. No, Canadian, that's where you're wrong. Most of the time your zero swings actually have a higher lift capacity than your traditional counterweights, and I'll tell you why, because it blew my mind for a long time. Imagine this is the structure of your excavator. On most excavators, if you look, the boom comes off at the front of the machine, but on a zero swing machine, it's centered on the machine. So even though you don't have as much counterweight hanging off the back, because your boom is centered on the machine, you are able to lift substantially more than you would a conventional excavator. So when it's tight into the machine, I should specify, when it's tight into the machine, you have a much higher lift capacity. Now, when you get way out there really reaching, you do kind of miss that conventional counterweight. But that's why I like the zero swing machines, is because when you're kind of in that close in to mid-range, those zero swing machines lift like a beast. They're unreal. Let's see here. Ryan, the Ministry of Labor has been out in force since that trench collapse. It happened on a Monday, so it's safe to say corners were likely cut because it was Monday and no one was in a good mood. Yeah, 100%. OSHA's really cracking down here. I was reading an article the other day that just this year in the U.S. there's been like something, I want to say like 35 or like we're batting around 40 trench deaths this year, which is abnormally high. And I don't understand why we're just having a year of high trench deaths. It is what it is. Let's see here. Boom. AP Canadian for the UK. We're busy. So zero swings are brilliant to have on site. Yep. What's the best size excavator for land clearing? It depends on what trees you're dealing with. If you got kind of tall trees that don't have a tremendously deep fat root ball, I would say you could absolutely get away with like a 20-ton machine. That's a great size because it's not getting too big to where you can't get through the trees, but at the same time it's got the oomph and the ass that you can knock them over. You can pop those root balls out. If you're going for huge land clears, then I would say absolutely go with like a 330, because now instead of having to actually work the stumps, you can just pop those suckers out. You can push those trees over however you want. So it really just depends on your situation and what kind of projects you're working on. That's where just experience is going to help you size the right machine to the job. My video on my end froze up again, so you guys will have to tell me if you're continuing to... Oh, and when I refreshed, I went back to top chat. Go look at that. Let me know if the video's still coming through, because on my end, it froze back up. But I don't know if that's actually translating to you guys. And I apologize if I'm missing some of your comments, because like I said, it switched me back over to top chat. I am now back in live chat, so hopefully I shouldn't ignore any of you. I'll try to be a better person. Boom, boom. What's best side? Okay, we answered that one. Depends on how much land. Yep, exactly, Canadian. Oh, excuse me, Richard. That's a good idea. I'd join if you created that. Would be great to see and support the channel. Richard, I appreciate it, man. You are one of my top supporters. Like, if we can, let's give a nice golf clap to Richard. Richard reaches out to me on Instagram almost daily, emails me, is constantly here in every live stream, comments on my videos all the time. Like, Richard, you, Jackson, and Shane, honestly, have got to be... You know what? I'm not even call names, because there's so many of you guys in here that are true supporters. We got AP, Connor, Ryan. Like, you guys are just regularly there. But Richard, really, you and Jackson Alonzo are probably the two that stand apart when I think about my subscribers and, like, who is there for everything. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. It really touches me right here, man. I mean that. It really does. I appreciate it. Here you go, Nick. I don't know if Nick's probably not in here anymore, but this is for Nick Santa Maria. We are officially cracking our giant poussoir drink tonight. Man, that's good. That is seriously good. And the lavender. Oh, really makes it. I sound like such a giant woman, don't I? Oh, well. It is what it is. Let's see here. Canadian, no need for a 395 if you're only filling one truck, but also a 320 with 20 trucks is a problem on the other end of the spectrum. Yes. 329, 336 is a good balance. 349 is oversized, probably going with zero information. All that to say, as Canadians getting at, you have to size it to the project. You can't really just say, this is good for land clearing in general. Are we land clearing a small lot? Because I can tell you on a small lot, an 8-ton machine will get the job done. It's going to take a little more work on the root balls than a big machine, but when it comes to actually maneuvering between the trees without denting side panels and scratching up your counterweight, 8-ton machine's a great little machine. Now, if we're going to go clear 50 acres, you better believe I want like a 349 out there or a 330 so that I can start toppling these trees and I can just pop those roots out, those big old root balls out and throw them to the side. I want a machine that's got some balls on it so we can really go through and just plow that sucker over. So it just depends on the job that you're doing. But if you want an all-around general machine that would work, I don't know, for land clears probably up to about 10 to 20 acres, a 20 to 25 ton machine would be kind of a good balance there, assuming that you're not having to keep a bunch of standing timber that you have to then maneuver that machine between. I've been lucky that I've had a really good luck working with good operators who are willing to share information. I know there's one operator at the company that's terrible for chewing everyone out, but nobody likes him. I already know not to listen to him before I even met him. There you go. And most of those guys have a reputation. You know, the industry has gotten to the point where you will get a reputation at the job. Connor, what's going on, Connor? It's been a hot minute and it's good to see you, brother. Hey, Brian, just got back from Italy. That's cool. Their infrastructure there is something else. Water lines literally thrown on the side of the road in guardrails and called good. Huh, interesting. I will say, I can't wait to travel the world and see the differences in the way things are done. Like, even within the U.S., I've talked about it before, even within the U.S., there's so many different varieties and ways that we do things, and the way we approach jobs, even the way we classify aggregates. There's such a variety within the U.S. I can't wait to go abroad and go hang with AP over there in the U.K., and go hang with the guys in Canada. I want to go. I've got a couple connections down in Australia. Phil, one of my great subscribers, is down in Australia. I'd love to go see him. I know I've had someone in here that is in the Caribbean. I can't remember if it was Jamaica. But yeah, like, just to see the different ways. Like, think about the Caribbean, for instance. We're all used to digging in dirt and maybe some rock, right? But in the Caribbean, they're digging on coral. All of those islands are either lava or coral, and that's what they're having to dig through, and it's horrendous and terrible. But that'd be awesome to go and experience those different conditions and see how they deal with it and how they dig through that. It'd be great. Let's see here. AP, you hit the nail on the head there. Not many people realize how the arm is set further back on a zero swing. That's it, man. It blew my mind when I was looking at lift charts when I initially got into the industry. And that's when I was like, how in the F are they able to lift so much? And that's when I started looking at the construction of the machine. And it's like, oh, well, duh. Yeah, if you move that arm back and center it, yeah, you're going to have a crap load more lift capacity. Canadian, I heard last month Kiewit had 3 deaths in 1 week. Man, that's unreal. Especially for a company of that size. Like those big companies are especially strict on safety standards. That's crazy. Video. Okay, so video's starting to come back, it looks like. On my end, it's still showing we're dropping some pretty good frames, but if we're, I mean, there's 15 people back in here, so apparently we're doing something right. If you're untrained, be careful land clearing. Tree clearing is no joke, and those rotten trees will humble you really quick. 100%. If you don't know what you're doing with land clearing, if you don't know what you're doing with trees, anything, this is whether you're doing a chainsaw, you're doing a dozer, you're doing an excavator. If you don't know what you're doing with trees, take some time to learn. Go out of your way to train yourself, because trees will kill you in a heartbeat, and it will come out of nowhere. Because if you do not look up every freaking tree that you go to take down, you better have evaluated the tree all the way up. And then when you get over to it, you better have a good idea of whether or not that tree is rotted out or not. Because what happens is a lot of guys won't even look up. They just go and start pushing on that tree, not realizing that halfway up, there is a big old dead section. And when they push, it causes it to whip, and that top portion falls, snaps off, and comes straight down on the cab of your machine. Guess what? You've got a nice window on the top of the cab of your excavator. Do you want a tree trunk in your crotch? That's all I need to say to this crowd, because no, we don't. So yes, be careful. Let's see here, Riley. Have you checked out McKinley Excavating? I have not, but I will write that down to check them out. McKinley Excavating. I will have to go check them out. Dead trees or widowmakers in an excavator. Easy to break. Oh, exactly what I just described, Ryan. Yes. Yeah, Ryan. No. Yeah. Had a guy try and tell me the best thing to do with the dead tree is hit it hard and fast so it doesn't have a chance. That guy is lucky to be alive, because that is the last thing you want to do with a dead tree. Yeah, that's not good advice. Darren, if you are still here, I greatly appreciate you hanging out. I greatly appreciate the support and you listening to the podcast. I really do. And I hope things are going well for you. I do miss seeing you here, but I totally understand we're in the busy part of the year. This winter, I'm very excited about this winter because my schedule will slow down, and I know I'm going to get to catch up with a bunch of you guys. So have a great night if you're still here. If not, catch you here soon. Ryan Breakoff, I quickly disregarded that advice. Yes, 100%. Shane, back on the 870G, digging and installing slide rail. I don't know what that's supposed to say, Shane, but that's good for a big pit. 870G. Dude, I want to run that 870G so bad. That looks like a fun machine. Let's see here. Yes, Canadian, absolutely. Will we get to see any videos of that, Shane? Yeah, I'm curious about that too, Shane. I know I haven't been following a lot of your recent videos because I've been so flippin' busy, but I would love to see some of what you're doing. Been following since you did the video on old Ford dump truck cab filled with trash. Holy shnikes, Riley, that's crazy. That was, man, I gotta think about that. That was the Chuck Wagon is what we called that truck, because Charles was the name of the guy that drove the truck. And he had totally bombed out that cab. That has been, man, I gotta think about this. That's been almost 10 years now, Riley. That's nuts that you've been following me that long. That's crazy. You may be my oldest active subscriber at this point. Email me your mailing address and your shirt size, sir. I will reward you for that, because that is not something to laugh at. Email me your information and I will send you a shirt. That's, yeah, easily 10 years ago. That's nuts. That's awesome. Thanks for supporting. I appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Yes, the favorite thing to hear when asking safety questions. It should be fine. Should be, yes, absolutely. Um, oh yeah, and then that's the best part. Ryan just mentioned that the guy giving the terrible advice he wasn't even the operator, so who cares? Yeah. Shane, not sure, probably not. I can record free company videos. It's at a hospital. That's lame. Matthew Vanderkloot. I first talked to you before jumping to a position with an excavation company. Past 3 weeks have been on a roller, but I was able to try a Komatsu 51 dozer this week. Super cool. That Komatsu 51 is freaking awesome. That's a great dozer. I'm a huge fan of those. And I'm super excited that you're already getting dozer time 3 weeks in. That's awesome, man. If you have any questions, Matthew, absolutely, there's my email. Boom, right there. Shoot me an email. I'm happy to coach you. I'm happy to answer questions for you. You are not alone as you kind of learn the trade here. Ryan, 100%. I also enjoyed watching that 870 work. When's the next time you're coming back to Orlando? Probably 2 or 3 years, in all honesty. So we were down there last year for AED Summit, but they rotate venues. They do Vegas, they do Orlando, and they do Chicago. I know this coming year is going to be Chicago. The next year is most likely going to be Vegas, which means it's going to be year 3 that I come back to Orlando. If anything happens before then, I will let you know. I will coordinate with you, because I love meeting you guys, by the way. It's one of those things where I don't know where everyone lives to give you a heads up when I'm going to be in town. But if you guys get wind that I'm going to be in town, or if you are in town here in Michigan, sorry, I got something under my feet. It's bothering me. Don't hesitate to reach out. I have absolutely, I've had lunch or dinner with probably 6 different subscribers at this point that have been passing through town and have reached out, or when I've been on the road in a certain area that we've talked to each other. So don't hesitate to reach out. Would love to get together. Let's see here. Boom. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the frame rate, Ryan. I don't know. It is what it is for tonight. You know, maybe next week YouTube will get their shit sorted out. Canadian, after working for Kiewit, though, I'm tempted to say the safety is bordering too much. When you have that much paperwork to fill, I've yet to be on a crew that doesn't just sign everything without reading it. Yeah, that's the problem with safety, is we've gone so overboard with it that it becomes just background noise. And no one actually pays attention to the things that are like truly we need to pay attention to. It's just like, oh yeah, another safety talk, another safety talk, another safety talk. So I think the industry needs to improve in that area. I think OSHA needs to help the industry improve in that area by, and this is part on OSHA, we need to approach safety from a practical standpoint in this industry, instead of it being, we need to wrap everything in bubble wrap, and we need to put, you know, sofa cushions down anytime something could possibly fall 6 inches. It's one of those things where we need to approach safety from a practical standpoint and make everything as safe as possible, but at the same time recognize, like, this is an inherently dangerous industry and there are going to be accidents. You can't ever stop accidents. Accidents are going to happen. But if an accident happens, it needs to be a true accident. It doesn't need to be something where, oh, had we just done this, we would have been totally fine. But that's just my personal opinion. Anyway. Yeah, exactly, Ryan. Exactly. Good old Chuck Wagon. That's it. That is it. AP video yours I liked was your cab cleaning video. Like seeing what products you can use to keep the floor clean and shiny when I start operating full time. Dude, I'm telling you right now, Pledge, first of all, here's how much I like Pledge. They totally blew me off. When I made that video talking about how Pledge is the most amazing product to clean your cab, I sent that to Pledge. And in return, I got a $1.50 off coupon from Pledge on my next Pledge purchase. I was a little irked about that, but I still religiously buy Pledge because nothing else does that good of a job. So, yes. Ryan, thank you. Yes, I should have gotten at least a case of Pledge, right? I won't go the full lifetime supply, but wouldn't you at least offer like a case of Pledge? No, I got a $1.50 off freaking coupon on my next Pledge purchase. It was like, you know what? Go F yourselves, Pledge. Anyway, but still, you can't find a better cleaning product. It's so freaking awesome. But thanks for the support on that video, AP. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Okay, real talk though. Everyone talks about Bigfoot, Chupacabra, or the Loch Ness Monster, but nobody is talking about the monster that eats whole bags of sunflower seeds and covers the floors. You know what? I don't think it's a monster. I think you need to look for the guy that's got a big old gut, wears overalls and a wife beater, and generally drinks his coffee out of one of those giant 7-Eleven mugs that is so ridiculous it won't fit in any earthly made cup holder. That is your chupacabra of the sunflower seeds right there. I've seen him. I've seen him multiple times, so it's not like it's this mysterious creature like the chupacabra or the Bigfoot. He exists. I've seen him, but he is elusive. You do have to watch that bad boy. He somehow, and I will say this, it is incredible how that guy manifests himself only when you've had a day off. I used to clean the shit out of my loader cab, and it only took one day off, and that guy would roll into town. I don't know where he came from, but he would roll into town, somehow fill the cab with sunflower seeds, and then roll right back out before I ever had a chance to see him. That's the man we're looking for. We need to put up posters. Let's see here. Boom, boom. How's the studio coming? So Riley, great question. So the studio build, we have the driveway cut in. Rick and I went and rolled fabric out for stone. I'm going to stone it probably Wednesday and Thursday of this week. We have the actual building pad cut out. We are working on the finalizing of the land use permit right now. I'm hoping that we can start digging footers here within the next 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm waiting for my lumber package quotes to come back and my framer to confirm with me. I'm hoping we can start framing here in the next month and a half. That's the goal. My overall goal is to have that sucker dried in by late fall, early winter, and that way we can spend the winter time doing all of our, I'm going to do a lot of the plumbing, the electrical myself, insulation, stuff like that. So I'm hoping we will have some real material progress here pretty quick. Let's see here. Sunflower seeds and cigarette butts and boxes pisses me off. I'll tell you what pisses me off more than that is the guy who just doesn't even spit out the cab when he's dipping. The guy who just spits in the floor of the machine. I'm sorry, you're a freaking dick if you do that. That is disgusting. I don't want to put my feet in your spit and your tobacco juice. I don't want my whole cab smelling like spit and tobacco juice. You are an a-hole. Oh, God, I hate that. Ugh. 100 yeah, the water bottles are also a pain in the ass. Yeah. Don't lie, Shane. I know from watching your videos that you actually care about the safety of the guys in the hole. Yeah, Shane's a good dude. The Canadian, that's me, but with water. I got my 4 liter. That's right, because he's Canadian. I don't even know how many gallons 4 liters is. But it's a Coleman water jug, carry everywhere because foremans always forget to bring the water. I constantly drink 6 liters of water daily. That sounds like a tremendous amount, but because you didn't put it into freedom units, I have no feel for how much water that is. That could be a thimble, for all I know, with my measly American imperial system. That's how we roll. Have you ran the New Holland skid steers? I have not, but they are the exact same skid steers as the Case skid steers, so yes, maybe, I don't know. Brian, look up slide rail shoring. It's a pain in the ass to install, has to be perfect corners. What is slide rail shoring? Slide rail shoring. Ooh, it even pops right up with the Google auto fill. Oh, I see what you're doing. I've seen these before. Okay, I'm with you, Shane. Interesting. That does look like a tremendous pain in the ass, because if you're off on your angles at all, you can't fit those panels in. Yeah, forget that. Why would you? Ooh. Yeah, no thanks, Shane. By the way, 5 minutes, guys. We're gonna wrap this baby up. 5 minutes. Ryan, there's another thing that's great about the new operator I'm working with is that he also likes to keep the cab clean, so I'm not always cleaning out the cans. It's always nice to have someone that's on the same page as you. AP, I hate getting into a dirty cab. I clean it and wipe it down before I even put the key in the ignition. I'm in the same boat. I'm kind of one of those mentalities that I feel way more productive when I'm in a clean, comfortable cab. Like when I'm constantly having dust fly at me and there's garbage everywhere, there's just something about that that drives me nuts and it distracts me. It takes away from my focus. But if I'm in a nice, clean, wiped down cab, I just generally overall feel far more efficient. Let's see here. Matthew, 2 guys just passed away and 2 others were injured a few streets over from where we were working in a trench collapse this week. And I don't know what is going on this year. The trench collapses are out of control. It's crazy. No trench box. Over 20. Oh, there's no excuse for that. 20 foot deep with no trench box. Did they even have it benched back the appropriate amount? Well, clearly they didn't because 2 guys died, but unreal. We had a truck driver that will spit on his floorboard and put his cigarettes out on the floorboard. Yeah, sorry, no. If you can't respect we're talking about pieces of equipment that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you can't take care of an asset that is it costs more than your house. Come on, man, really? Ryan, yeah, Shane, when you're doing that kind of stuff, you're not doing it in a way that risks death. The key is to always have an exit strategy when doing something sketchy. 100%. If you have to there are times where we have to get in holes that are not safe, or we have to do something that is not 100% safe, but you plan for it. You don't just dive right in there. You plan for it. You put in the appropriate egress options. You know, if something goes sideways, where are you going to go? Where are you going to jump to? That's how you approach those situations. But unfortunately, because of the line of work we're in, you have to get in those situations sometimes. There's no getting around it. So somebody draw me a line. We're going to go ahead and line this one out here. Delicious. That's not so much on the burp though. Lavender on the way back up, not so much, guys. Let's see here. Probably weren't aware of the hazard laborers. That is, yep. Foreman likes to get in the backhoe on occasion and screw things up, smokes the cab out in the process. That's not good. Hey Riley, appreciate it. Like I said, shoot me an email with your information. I'll get you a shirt, brother. I can't believe that you have been around for 10 flipping years. That's awesome. Andrew, where have you been? We're shutting this baby down and you're just now showing up. What is going on here, my man? I'm glad you were able to make it for the last 3 minutes though. I really do. 6 liters is 1.5 gallons. Okay, 1.5 gallons. That's a lot of water, but it's not as astronomical as I originally thought. And that, ladies and gentlemen, oh, yep, I've done things that was before. Like, yep. All right, so there's the line. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out to the live stream on this wonderful Sunday night. Despite all of our technical issues, despite all of our YouTube-isms, we've had a good time here. And you have pulled me out of my slump from having to put my dog down earlier in the week. And I will say that is quite the achievement because it's been a rough flipping week. So thank you guys. We appreciate it. You guys have a great week. Stay safe. And we will catch you guys. Hang on. Before we do this, I want to just make sure I'm not leading anybody on. Yeah. We will catch you guys next weekend on the live stream. You guys stay safe out there. We'll see you guys later.